Peppa was panting heavily, her terrified expression showing just how unsettling everything had become. She and George were staring through the window at their frantic parents, Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig, outside. But all of this started the day before. Peppa and her family had been so excited about their vacation. Everyone packed their bags and loaded them into the car. Soon, they were all buckled up, ready to go. The drive was long, winding through valleys and mountains, and it wasn't until they were close to their destination that they realized something felt off. There were rumors about UFOs and aliens at the place they were headed, but the family didn't seem concerned. When they arrived at the cabin, they began unloading their luggage, laughing and helping each other. It was supposed to be a fun trip. However, once they stepped inside the cabin, it felt abandoned, old, and a sense of eerie silence seemed to be watching them. Despite this, the Pig family tried to make the best of it. They unloaded their bags and set up camp outdoors. What they didn't notice was a dark figure inside the window, watching them motionless. Later, Peppa and George decided to explore the house. They climbed up to the attic. There, they found a strange old book. When Peppa opened it, she saw drawings of pentagrams and some symbols she couldn't understand. Suddenly, a loud crash came from the floor below. They were terrified and quickly slammed the book shut, rushing downstairs. But when they got to the living room, Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig were just casually chatting. That night, however, Peppa suddenly woke up. There was a shadow in her room, silently staring at her. She screamed and ran to George's bed, shaking him awake. But when they looked again, the shadow had disappeared. So they quietly sneaked out of their room to find their parents. But Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig weren't in their bed. Then, they heard something outside. Peppa and George climbed up to the window and saw their parents standing in the yard. But their movements were off. Their faces seemed wrong. Peppa and George rushed outside, running into the woods. They ran and ran, but George tripped. Peppa turned back to help George up, but she heard a terrifying noise behind them. She had no choice but to keep running. She ran until dawn, exhausted and full of fear. Finally, on a forest path, she saw George ahead. She shouted and ran toward him, but then there was a scream. Peppa was caught.